Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. Today's video is all going to be about spells and sneaky tricks, and I'll be up against Feng, one of 201's strongest and one of the longest standing 201 streamers and high MMR players, so a worthy opponent for sure. Now the elite spec is sadly being offered to him, so I'll have to pick something else. And looking at these packs, I wasn't really sure what to go for. I mean, the giant spec is fine, lots of hit points, but yeah, not really looking to play Fang ball. Cost control, not really my cup of tea. And so I end up settling here with Amplify spec. I think Sledgehammers are honestly currently the best packs that you can start with. They don't have any bad matchups, and they tend to just be useful units down the line, no matter what you're trying to play, whether that's defense or standard, and sometimes honestly even on aggro these guys perform really well. I'll be up against a Sabertooth Arclight opener, which I'm pretty happy with. Sabertooths are not good at all at killing sledge packs. They can kill the sledges individually, but it takes a long time for them to kill the whole pack, so we've got nice stalling capabilities. I have, of course, the small amplifying cores, or SMAMPs as some people may call them. And I'm deciding to play some defense here. So Sledgehammers are going to be somewhat in front of the towers in the middle, and the marksmen are going to be behind. I've got 3 of them, leaning in towards the right side mostly. I know that Feng and a lot of players with sabers will be playing aggro, so that is what I was expecting. He is a fortified specialist, by the way, so we'll have to look out for that. Has that 17% bonus HP, and as you guys will see, that will actually matter in the long run. Also, the camera is back. I am currently not removing my background because my application was having some issues and I didn't really stand the flickering, but I hope that this is better. I'm now in the corner, maybe that's a bit easier. I might have to grab a green screen or something to really properly remove the background, but I hope that this is acceptable. I decided to put the SMAMPs onto my Sledgehammers, of course. They're units that can definitely use them quite well, both the hit points and the attack. And then we keep one for a rainy day. And yeah, gonna be 2 crawlers here for me on round 1. I was debating what I wanted. Could go for 2 fangs as well. Could even go for arclights, honestly. Might have been a bit better, but you know, it's not bad to have chaff anyway. I'm gonna want crawlers down the line, and we'll just have to see how this ends up going. Got some crawlers on the tower there on the left. Maybe that debuff can be useful, but having a look at this, ugh. Yeah, these crawlers getting in, the Sledgehammer's just not really clearing too fast. Maybe I should have gone for those arclights after all. And it looks like with the saber locked onto my tower, I am gonna get debuffed. And both sabers still alive. I'd be very happy if I could get rid of at least one here, but I'm not even sure if that's gonna be possible. And yeah, that is honestly not a good round whatsoever for us. One arclight's still alive, so pretty bad first round. And let's see how we deal with this. Now, round number 2, we immediately get unit reinforcements. And having a look at this, I mean, Fang is fine, but it's level 2, and I don't really want to pay 100 for it and kind of feed a lot of experience to my opponent's chaff clear. Hound is fine. I do need some chaff clear, but I felt like the main thing I was lacking here was also just DPS. I didn't trust my marksman enough to deal with these sabers, and so I decided to go for the Phoenix here, in addition to the marksman I already have, to really try and get rid of those sabers as fast as I can. Opponent goes for the hounds instead, opting to go for a flank on the right side, as well as 1 hound here to protect the left side tower. And then we're gonna have to... yeah, I'm gonna decide to buy some more Sledgehammers, in addition to an arclight in front of the right tower. Reason for this is I think Sledgehammers are just good into sabers to stall them, and honestly, they're not bad either to kind of stop any diagonal plays from getting to the tower. They also do help a little bit with the chaff clear, but I wanted to have at least 1 dedicated arclight because of this this stream of crawlers moving in. Now, some of my units are getting pulled, of course, by that hound flank. We'll have to deal with that adequately. My favorite response to those type of flanks, honestly, has been wasps. I think wasps deal with these type of flanks pretty effectively, and it's a nuisance for my opponent to make the flank work after I've added some wasps. I also did level the left tower, another hound shows up on that flank apparently, but we're managing to win the main fight. And yeah, hounds, although they are very strong, they don't quite have the damage needed to get rid of a level 2 tower this fast. And so yeah, now we're just going to be chasing around some units around the map. Some fangs are left too, getting some nice experience from the towers. And that'll be all she wrote. We immediately punch back on round 2, very happy with that. And we've managed to get some commitment on the flanks from our opponent. And so here we go, final hound goes down. And that means we enter round number 3. And let's have a look at what we have here. Subsidized Crawler, not really something that I can make use of. Elite Mustang, Elite Steel Ball, maybe a little bit too expensive. And so I decided to just pick up the Advanced Shield Device here. Can be useful down the line, especially if there's some spells that show up, so I think it's worth picking. And then we go for the double Wasps to protect the flanks, as we mentioned. I also level the right tower once more, so that we now have 2 level 2 towers. I think this is generally just a good thing to do when facing aggro. And let's see how this goes. Opponent goes for double Phoenixes now of his own. I did give the Smamp to my Phoenix, by the way, last turn, the one that I had left still, just to boost that DPS a little bit more. Arclight sadly gets taken out. Sledgehammers, I guess, maybe could have been a bit more forward to tank for a little bit longer. And opponent already has a level 2 Saber now, which is a little concerning. That seems very hard to kill, even though all of my units are locked on. And, well, the tower is leveled, so at least we can tank one shot, but the second comes in right before it dies. And so 7 seconds of debuff is what we'll have to deal with. Luckily for me, I also do manage to get the left tower, and I think with that, we should be able to get rid of the Phoenix. I say that. Ooh, okay, there we go. A marginal win, but we'll take it. Managing to get some good experience on the units. Dealt with the flanks, and now we can kind of start building. Mainly front side chaff is what I need, and I need maybe some more chaff here as well. And so this is where we start picking up the spells, right? Orbital Javelin there gets offered. Honestly, on round 4, it's often an insta-pick for me if there isn't something like Super Supply or something else I really want. Because it's so cheap, it has a 3-round cooldown, so you will almost certainly see it back if it shows up on round 4. And it just has the potential to, yeah, to get so much value here. And it's gonna be nice regardless, right? Opting to hit this Saber and Arc. I probably should have done it on the left side now that I think about it, because of course my opponent was going to level the other Saber as well. I put it there because last round this was the only Saber that was level 2, but it was kind of obvious he was going to level the other one as well. My opponent went for the advanced defensive tactics though, which is something you don't see that often. You can kind of get the same result for 50 cheaper if you take the second defense enhancement, which also gives 30% bonus HP. But yeah, the enemy units are starting to get really, really tanky here, right? You've got plus 47% from the cards, and then you've got an additional plus 15% from the tower enhancement as well. Could even be more, right? Could even be plus 45% if he goes for the second tower enhancement too. Luckily for us, we are chipping down seriously now, with the opponent down to sub 2500. And round number 5, I see more spells and I think, well, that worked rather well last round with the Javelin. And I feel like if we manage to get a couple more rounds like this, maybe I can win in, 2 rounds. Make that like end of round 6, potentially round 7. And so I think to myself, well, let's just pick up that Lightning Storm, because there's a bunch of things to hit. There is these Mustangs, there is the Phoenixes, the Chaff, and Lightning Storm is very good at getting rid of small units. I decided to shield as well on the right side, make use of that advanced shield device, just in case he wanted to pick up a spell as well. And I think I could have gone for the Acid Blast there too. It's a spell I don't pick up that often, but probably would have been worth it. And now I range Arclights, pick up a few more, and the opponent goes for Fortresses. And those Fortresses are incredibly tanky, mind you, 71,000 hit points, which means that when the Javelin comes back, they're actually already at the point where they don't get one-shot by the Javelin. Extremely tanky. But, well, the Storm, of course, did get used there by us. And that will yield another round, and a pretty decent one at that. Some Phoenixes left alive, all marksmen still, some Arclights. It's gonna mount up to about 1,000. And yeah, there we go. Now down to 1,300 as we enter round number 6. And now again, we see Electromagnetic Blast show up if you want another red spell, but my opponent didn't really have a lot of techs, or well, he didn't have any yet, so I didn't feel like it was worth picking this one up. And instead I go for the portable shield because I need to have a melter. These fortresses are pretty close to the line, so I felt like I could maybe get close to an insta-lock. And, well, I really need the DPS now against the sabers, the fortresses, especially when, again, looking at the enemy cards that he picked. This is simply too tanky for marksmen and phoenixes to deal with. And things are starting to look a bit scary now, because while I have a melter with a port shield and range, opponents picked up the nano repair, built 2 more forts, picks up a crawler, and still has enough left, I believe, to pick a tech here. Yes, indeed. And it's going to be the Fang spawn. Something I haven't seen recently all that much. It got nerfed a bunch of times. A mass-produced fortress got hit as well. So, yeah. Looking a bit scary. I thought it would go for Fortress AA, honestly, because of my Wasps and Phoenixes. So I sell out of a Phoenix, I believe, and I move the other one to the left side of the board, trying to snipe this tower with a crawler and a missile, but suddenly there's a fortress in my way. Good thing for me is my Phoenixes do insta-lock, and maybe we're just going to be able to get rid of this fortress altogether. I'd be pretty happy to trade a fortress for a level 2 Phoenix. I think that's a beneficial trade for me. Phoenix on the right side, now tanking for the enemy fortress. I haven't managed to lock on still. Okay, there we go. Finally, we've locked on to the enemy fortress, but I'm having some real trouble here in the middle. This fortress just refusing to die, and it kind of looks like I am going to be losing this round. The Melter did a great job. It's doing what it can, but there's just so much tanky stuff, never mind about the pesky little fangs, that we can't get rid of everything. And so, round number 6, suddenly things are starting to look very scary because we all know how well Fang production forts can scale if given too much time. Now, round number 7, we get Hounds and Vulcans. I no longer run, or I'm currently not running Incendiary Bombs, so I could have maybe tried to play Hounds with Mech Rage and Range to chaff clear, but I didn't really feel like I had the time to scale. I felt like I needed to close out the game as fast as I could. So instead I go for the Vulcan here, which also allows me to use Oil as another spell here, but this time around from the tower, to try and ignite the ground underneath these fortresses and hopefully get some better locks on the melters. I don't need to deal that much damage, I just need to win a good round and then that'll be it. However, opponent goes for an Overlord, and as I pick up 2 more melters, he also goes for the Shielded Fangs now, which is a very scary prospect, because I don't really have a way to deal with it. Apart from the Vulcan and the Fire, all I have is like a couple of ranged Arclights and some Sledgehammers, which are not known to deal very well with Shielded Fangs. And have a look at this. Another boat gets picked up with the range enhancement. And as I place a couple of missiles down here to try and get rid of chaff, we'll have to see how well this round goes. Vulcan should light this stuff on fire, will do so. That'll allow my Melter to lock onto that Nano Fortress. But at the same time, the boat has also found its mark and is getting rid of my Vulcan. Right side is looking not great, I have to say. Some Mustangs there getting in the way of my Melter locking onto the fort. Finally, it will do so. Melter on the left, same thing. We'll get rid of that Overlord, but I don't really have any chaff clear left, and those Fangs that just spawned all have shields, which is creating some real issues. Boat will splash, or not quite, onto the Arc and the Marksman, and some way, somehow, I just lose another round. That is horrendous. But lucky for me, dual spells are a thing. And so now, we get another Lightning Storm to show up. And we also have the orbital javelin back off cooldown. So what do we want to do here? Now, the thing about the javelin is that it doesn't quite one-shot most of these units. It actually doesn't have enough juice to kill the level 2 overlords, and it doesn't have enough damage to kill the level 1 fortresses because of all of these HP stacking cards that the opponent picked up. So instead of going for these units, I decide, well, maybe it's just best to get rid of a saber here and an arclight and kind of call it a day. The other option I had was try to hit this fortress and overlord, but I thought he might try to level it just to kind of get it over that 70k damage barrier. Opponent also goes for the storm this time around. And of course, I have the advanced shields to make good use of again. Pretty happy that I had this card, to be honest. And let's see, I now decide to elite recruit some Mustangs, give them range. As I was still somewhat healthy, I probably could survive another round, but I need something to deal with the Fangs. And to me, the only reasonable option I had available seemed to be the Mustangs. I didn't really trust Vulcans to do their thing. I think they would die pretty quick to something like the Overlords, so I decided to go Mustang instead. And it seems like we're doing pretty well. That storm is doing a lot for us, and we're managing to lock on with our melters. Right side is not looking too bad, I want to say. Left side, though, struggling a little bit. Melter did go down. And as we work away on that high-level Overlord, my left tower will be falling. Now the question is, can we lock on to this fortress? It just about spawns more Fangs. I think there's about 1.5 packs of Fangs in there. It could spell trouble. And yeah, there goes my Melter. Everything, yeah, just kind of crumbles there under the pressure of the fortress and the Overlord. And as my Melter is very tanky, it does manage to win the round, but that's not enough. That only does 350 damage, and now we enter round number 9 with about, yeah, 1,000 hit points remaining on my opponent. Round number 9, we get more unit reinforcements, and I decide, well, maybe I just want to have the Stormcallers. I could have gone for Steel Balls as well. I am running the heavy target lock, so could have tried to put those on the line with range and heavy targets and kind of get rid of the fortresses immediately. But instead I tried to something else, as I am currently running high explosive ammo on my Stormcallers again. Wanted to give that a shot, and yeah, decided to click it. Should be decent into the shielded Fangs. I just kind of wanted to see how it performs. Opponent goes for the Steel Balls, which is a little bit concerning because I don't have the best Steel Ball answer, but lucky for me, he doesn't run armor, so the high-level Mustangs should be able to deal with them. My Melter here in the middle is a little bit out of position, I think. It's a little close to the action, but I think it still does very well. It did 112,000 damage last turn, so I don't really want to sell it. And now the opponent goes for a third tech on the Overlords with not just range, not just overload, but high explosive ammo as well, which will make something like Shielded Fang a lot less appealing to me. And let's see how this goes. Yeah, the Stormcallers are hitting pretty well, but of course they have some reduced damage because of that high explosive button. And while the Melters are trying their hardest, they are locked on now. But there's still so many Overlords left, and these things get extremely scary when you get to triple tech, especially with those levels. And it looks like, yeah, as my Melters are now going down, we're gonna take a boatload of damage, pun intended. And do we survive? Okay, we just about survive on 250 hit points, but I'm on Death's Door. Good thing for me, though, that first storm we picked up on round 5 is now back off cooldown and ready to use, which should at least give us a chance. The question is, what is our best option here to win the game? And I'm kind of looking at the enemy board and thinking, well, these towers are pretty open, right? There's a Fang there with the shield and the Mustang, but I think I can probably get in if he doesn't add a bunch of missiles and other things. And he's been neglecting this flank for a long time, so let's go all out. The Storm is going to go here on the left side where all the boats are, because of course Storm also slows down units it hits. which is quite significant. And I decided to take the redeployment spell that was offered and redeploy a sledgehammer I still had onto the flank, right in front of the Mustangs. It's level 2 with that smamp. It should be able to live. I take my jump drive Phoenix, move it behind there, because that'll be the easiest way to deal with any tanky stuff or a level tower, if he decides to go for that. And then we also add a level 2 Mustang behind that to deal with these shielded fangs that might turn. And hopefully here I can get a debuff as well as layer the storm. And I mean, if that doesn't work, then I think I'm out of, you know, tricks. But this is all I can do. I also go for the missile interceptor. We picked up 3 more blue stangs. And I'm thinking, well, if I could just intercept a couple of these missiles, then I'll be happy. I think intercepting overlords is not that viable these days because of the missile buff they got. But I'm in a bit of a pickle here, and I've got a whole lot of stangs. So I felt like, you know, maybe it's fine. His shaft gear mostly stems from the overlords. So if I can intercept like even half, I think I'll, you know, be able to stall him for a good amount of time. Steel balls on the right side are getting in, but have a look at this. The flank is now ready. The debuff has been secured 9 seconds towards my opponent, and my Phoenixes with the jump drive are zooming over to the right side with 24 meters a second. We of course took that temp speed, and a second debuff I think is going to seal the deal. The melters are now locked. I've still got a whole bunch of Mustangs left. The right side, lucky for me, didn't manage to quite make it to the tower. The steel balls for a second looked like they were, but it isn't meant to be. And as the final overlord now gets locked and his shots get intercepted, we managed to close out the game just about. I mean, we were very lucky here, I have to say, to make it through. I think we played to our out, right? We identified that the flank was quite weak and went for the debuff. I think without the debuff, I definitely couldn't have made this work. The spell, obviously, was very useful too. We managed to get a lot of damage down early because we picked the Javelin, we picked the double storms, and, well, with the advanced shield we picked up, we didn't really take as much damage in return when the opponent went for the second storm as well. But a very scary comp to deal with. This HP stacking, I wasn't really reading it until like round 4 or 5 when I was realizing, hey, these guys take a long time to kill. And then I realized this my Javelin like doesn't kill the level 1 fortresses, which is, well, quite surprising. Very scary comp. I don't think I could have, won this again if I didn't get all these spells. And, a very scary scaling comp. It's not just carry Overlord, which is scary enough of itself. It's also these Fang fortresses with the Fang production. Opponent didn't run the barrier, by the way, which is a little bit unhinged. But yeah, that's why he didn't pick that, if you were wondering. Either way, let me know what you think of this game. Do you like spells or not? Do you think I could have done anything different? Let me know. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.